This is About That Business, hosted by Rom Wills, author, speaker, and entrepreneur. Sit back and enjoy.
Greetings, fam. Today, I'm going to talk about franchising. You know what? Franchising is very important. It's something that people who want to get into business should really look at. And the reason why I'm saying that is many people want their own business. You know, they've saved up the money, or, you know, they have the means to get money. But they might not want to take the chance at starting something completely from scratch. They might not want to do that. That's tough. And this is especially the case with someone who was already making a lot of money anyway. Because you get a lot of, you have a lot of pro athletes. I mean, we always hear the stories of pro athletes who get into, they make their money, but then they're broke afterwards. But you get quite a few pro athletes who will get into franchising. They'll buy like some type of burger franchise or something, and then they'll work from there. There's a lot of people who do that. There are a lot of people who do that. And the beauty of franchising is basically you have a support infrastructure there to help you along. I mean, you still the owner of it, but at the same time, I would say you semi-autonomous. The reason why I say you semi, because if you franchising, the reality is there's going to be somebody above you. There's going to be someone, because, you still represent someone's brand. But at the same time, you get plenty of help. You get training in something. You get advertising. They'll advertise for you. So it comes down to how hard you want to work. And one thing about franchising, there are so many things to get into with a franchise. There are so many things. Like, one of the things I like to do, I'll actually go to a bookstore that has magazines, and I'll find there's a few magazines out there that just focus especially on franchising. And even Entrepreneur Magazine, no matter what business they're featuring, they always have a section on franchising. And also, too, on another level, I'll check out the franchising type of books and magazines rather, to see what's out there. Because when people are franchising something, that means there's a demand for it. And it gives you an idea what type of businesses to get into, what type of businesses are going to be around at least for a little while. Because people, because when people decide they want to franchise, they already figured out, hey, you know what? There's a demand for this. I can make some money, And it tells you, like I said, it tells you what's out there. Like right in front of me now, I have this Franchise 500 directory from Entrepreneur Magazine. Right, and I can look right at it, and it tells you a whole lot. If nothing else, check them out, because then you see what type of businesses you can get to. You might not want to be bothered with franchising. You might not want to be bothered with it. You want to be totally autonomous. You don't want some regional rep coming to visit you every 3 months to tell you your place is jacked up. Because that's the only thing. It really is the only thing with franchising. You're still part of a big corporation, but more or less independent contractor within there, semi-independent, right? But I wanted to read some of the stuff that businesses that won this Franchise 500 real quick, right? Just to give you an idea what's out there, what you can get into. And I would suggest just go to any store, major bookstore, sometimes a grocery store that has big business magazines. And I say sometimes, because depending on the area, you might not find that magazine. For example, where I live, my nearest grocery store has business magazines, right? But then when I go to another grocery store that's a little bit out, maybe a few more miles away from where I live, maybe about a good 6 miles from where I live, you can't find one business magazine. But see, that's that's not in as an affluent area. And basically, they're just saying, you know what, no one in this area will be interested in a business. So, but let me read off some of the stuff that they franchise it, and it can actually give you an idea what you can get into. But either as a franchisee or maybe you have the ability just to get into that business, right? Like starting off with this thing, they got automotive. There's a lot of stuff with that, like basically oil change services, appearance services. And that's a business right there, just detailing cars or fixing them up, something like that, right? Windshield repair, stuff like that, right? Business services like advertising, coaching, marketing, signage, stuff like that. Children's businesses. Now, children's businesses are big. And you have an endless, as long as people keep having babies, there's an endless supply of children. There's an endless supply. So anything dealing with that, especially like child care. You don't even have to franchise with that. If you got patience and you got a space. Because I remember where this house I used to live in a few years ago. All right. The next door neighbor was child care. And she was pretty much stay at home, The husband worked occasionally because he was working kind of construction, so he didn't always work. So she was keeping some stuff going. They were some badass kids, but still, But you got a lot of stuff there, tutoring, financial services. That's something people can get into. Oh, food, that goes without saying. Food, anything food. The overwhelming majority of fast food places out here, food establishments, big restaurants, or some type of franchise. And there's so much there: desserts, dinners, quick snacks, whatever, baked goods. You can definitely get into that. Of course, health. Home improvement. Now, home improvement is a big thing. Despite everything, people need to keep their houses fixed up. So if you're doing anything there, flooring, carpet, you can do some stuff there. Lodging, all these motels and stuff are franchise. Now, that's being disrupted somewhat by, the whole Airbnb thing. But still, if you like me, you don't want to stay in somebody's house. So it'd be the one time you go in some house or something, you think you chilling and shit, and then you get that door creeping open, they looking at you, got a mask on or something. It's like, nah, they ain't run. They ain't run because I had to hurt somebody. Any type of maintenance, that's still with that home thing. Personal care, like fitness. I'm gonna tell y'all what. Fitness, hair care, you got a few barbershops who are franchising. I'm like, wow. Pets, retail, they got some retail stuff up there, different services. You know what? I could be reading, and this will be a 20-minute video, how much stuff is in here. Dry cleaning, video services, postal. Like, I just had to get some mailing boxes from this place that just sold like postal supplies, and I could mail from there. And the guy was real cool and everything, right? But the whole thing with franchising, it allows you to get into the game. It allows you to, especially if you don't really know. You want to get into the game, but you might not have that great idea, and plus it might be something that you like to do anyway. And see, the beauty of franchises, especially a lot of people do this with fast food places. They'll get one, make some money, and then buy another one and buy another one. And the thing with the franchise, even though you still have to follow some corporate guidelines, you do have some leeway. Depending on the business, you do have some leeway. You still got to keep some same general things, but you have some leeway. You still get to determine who you hire, basically the culture of the place. So it's very important. Look into that. And you know what? Depending on what it is, it might not cost that much. Like a lot of fitness franchises, they don't cost that much to get into. If you got a little bit of money, can find a space, you in there. And also too, say you somebody who don't want to get into franchising. You like, man, I don't want to see anybody like 3 or 4 times a year trying to tell me I should be doing something this way. You could develop some type of business and franchise it yourself. They actually have businesses out there who can help you franchise. You could say, okay, I got this idea for a certain, like a gym. That's a good idea. Like you develop like a certain concept for a gym, right? Like exercises, whatever. And you say, man, this is making money. But, I don't want to own another one. Let somebody else own it. All right, I'm going to franchise that joint. So that's something, look into franchising, either as a franchisee or as a person who starts some franchises, And you can do that thing. You can do it. So anyway, that's it for today. Let's go make that money.